we have a commitment to the company, and it's sort of evident by the three people that are sitting over here. John, George, Eric. These are our three channel managers that are dedicated to the success of your endeavors when having opportunities to present products that IP Phone provides. Before we came here today, I said, guys, we had a little huddle. I said, it's very important that you mingle when you're here, but not amongst yourselves. All right, so you should have moved around a little bit. In any event, the industry is changing. The speakers before me have made that evident. Prices are changing, services are changing. The big spend is $500 billion, and everybody deserves their piece of the pie. So our job today is to convince you that the clear choice for the telecom, hosted PBX, UCaaS, bandwidth business is IP Phone. Because we know you do have choices. At the last count, I think there were 17,000 VoIP providers, give or take, all right? And the reason that there are, by the way, and the reason that most of them are in fact getting their share is because the market is so big. So there's enough for everybody when you really think about it. So the job is to convince you that we're a good choice when you have these opportunities. And number two is in the second half of my presentation, which I always like to provide to you outside of just company info and why we're good and why we're different, is that you as professional salespeople, in my opinion, are leaving a lot of money on the table. And the workforce is changing, needs are changing. I think we're out of, at this point, the saving you money on your phone service business, all right? It's just not the case anymore. I mean, there's a few stragglers out there paying $400 for a T1, all right? Who, when you call them up, they say, we're very happy with what we have, and that's fine for them, all right? Let them suffer through this. But for the most part, we're not in this money-saving business. We're providing solutions business, making your business better business, adhering to your new Salesforce requirements, all these kinds of things. So I'm going to start with the new IP Phone. So we've made some really changes, but just to reiterate some of the things that you may or may not know for some of you who are new, we have a big history in the marketplace. And not only in this marketplace, but we're making a real big stand now worldwide with offshore deployments, nationwide deployments, big multi-location deployments as well, and we'll go into that momentarily. So we are in fact the CLEC. We're a competitive local exchange carrier, which means that we offer not only PBXs, bandwidth, we offer everything telecom. And this is where I'm going to sort of talk about how we might be leaving some of the money on the table. We focus only on B2B, as you all know, and we provide, because we're not a manufacturer, we're a service provider. And the word commodity has been used from time to time here, in bandwidth, in VoIP services, and there may be some truth to that from the product side. But I take umbrage with it that on the commodity piece ends when you have a relationship as the service provider, making sure that your buyer has the experience that they're looking for. And that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's where our differentiation starts. So we are, in fact, a BroadSoft now, as you all probably know, a Cisco PBX service provider. Cisco bought BroadSoft about a year and a half ago for $2 billion. So, the logo is permeating everything. There's going to be changes. There's going to be some integration, but we still, keep the platform, which is housed in the NAP and in Dallas. But, some of the Cisco branding is going to come through, which I think at the end of the day will probably be a bonus for you, because there are certain companies that when you mention their name, they sort of stand out and have at least recognition. So we are, in fact, and if you look in the back there, you'll see I brought some of the new handsets that are provided by the Cisco. All right, so let's talk about who we are. 22 years in business. It's hard to find companies anywhere in the telecom business that have been around outside of maybe AT&T. And that's my first boss actually worked for AT&T, Alexander Graham Bell. I've been in the business for, it seems like 100 years. Between the four of us, by the way, we do have 150 years in the business. I have 100, they split the other 50, all right? IP Phone has 3,500 corporate separate logos around the planet. We actually have customers on 5 separate continents. Of course, most of them, probably about 35,000 of the active users that we have are within the state of Florida. Our support system is sort of melancholy when I say it's 24/7, 365. I'll get into that in just a little bit, because it's more than that, because you have to have that in the communications business, in the IT business, in the managed service business, because it's a 24-hour gig. And that's what we signed up for. And we do boast by survey a 99% retention rate. So here's our core services, two sides of the house. We're on the voice side with Cloud PBX, Unified Communications, and of course, planetary SIP trunking anywhere in the world, which is redundant. We also offer internet service, fiber only. I'll show you our pricing in just a little bit, but we're very, very competitive. All we need is an address. So we want you to consider IP phone, particularly for independent services and, by the way, as a bundled opportunity. Because VoIP travels over the internet, and there's an old saying in the world of technology that you're only as good as your internet. And based on the pricing differentiation, what's happening in the sort of the lowering of bandwidth pricing over time, the delta between best effort and fiber is not that much, and you sleep a lot better. Okay, complementary services on top of it. We offer all the mobility services, all the remote worker services, UCAS, what have you. We have fax solutions. We've done probably 1,000 quotes for TCG agents over the 4 years, maybe more. That doesn't include revisions. And revisions on the revisions. And those revisions, right. So we've done a lot of quotes. I can't tell you that maybe 10% of those quote requirements request eFax, cloud fax, some of the replacement services for legacy fax services, which, by the way, a lot of companies use. So I would suggest to you that over the 5-year period, we've probably left $500,000 on the table just by not asking. We'll get into that momentarily. Voice recording, CRM integration, which is giant now. So most of the standard CRMs that are available now are integratable with our platform. We also, because we're a CLEC, we have the ability to offer toll-free and international toll-free, international porting, and smoking international rates. So let's look at these and dissect a little bit. Cloud communications is everything that encompasses, telephony, UCAS, and all of the numerics that are going around now. I would suggest to you, though, that when you tell a buyer of a furniture store and you're in front of that person and that you have a very robust UCAS offering, that they're not going to know what you're talking about. You have to be able to define some of the words that we use on an ongoing basis. Just like if they told you how that chair was made and the rivets that they use and what have you, your head would drop too. Okay, unified communications includes video, voice, chat, presence, desktop, mobile, all those kinds of things. Some of these may be a Trojan horse. You just have to be careful when you offer these products to people, because a lot of people think that it's a lot more than they may need if they don't understand it. So I would start a little more fundamental on some of the things that people need on an ongoing basis, such as the mobility piece. Okay, so what's new? For a long time, IP Phone's been offering, the Yealink Polycom model, but with the advent of the Cisco buy, and because we have the opportunity to get these kinds of handsets, we are now offering a complete line of Cisco handsets. You can buy them or for rental. They're commensurate with sort of the Polycom pricing that you may be familiar with, but they are cool-looking phones. We have them in the corner there so you can take a look at them. We also have demos that if you're in front of a customer and you would like us to bring one out or give one to you to use, or if somebody wants to kick the tires, these are available as well. They're pretty cool phones, and they have a lot of great features along with the conference systems as well. Okay, contact center. The contact center business, previously called the call center business, is changing the way that America offers up your customer experience. You've all heard that, the CX. Everybody's talking about the customer experience. So call centers have been commonly known or noted as an area where people call in to complain, ask prices, what have you, through an auto attendant to a hunt group. You all know the terminology. Contact centers are changing now. Have you ever called the airlines and they say, our lines are very busy now. If you want to hang up, leave your number and we'll call you back in the order that you called, right? Beautiful, right? Who wants to wait 45 minutes? So you hang up and chances are there's a very good chance you get the call. Or you can reach us on Facebook, or you can reach us by text, or you can reach us by Twitter. All of those are called the omni-channel contact center profile. And this is what's happening in the world today. And when I tell you the average seat for an agent is $135 to $150, some people, their eyes roll back in your head. Is that right? Seems like a lot. But if I'm selling mattresses that cost $1,100, I want to make sure that my customer gets all the opportunity to communicate with me they can. So this is the way that the world is now changing now. Everybody's turning into a contact center. I suggest very strongly that you verse yourself an omni-channel contact center. The one that Cisco offers, by the way, is called the Customer Journey Platform. And by virtue of the definition, it just suggests that it takes your prospect or your customer, the caller, from the original call to the end of the journey. All right? How do we communicate? And it's very well known that people like to be communicated to in kind. So if you send me a text, how do you think I want you to get to me? By text. If you send me an email, I'll email. If you call me, God forbid, does anybody use the phone? It looks pretty on their desk, but does anybody actually use the phone? I get in front of people and I see the phone on their desk. I'm pitching the product, and all of a sudden they say, "Excuse me, I got to make a call." What do they use? Yeah, they use a smartphone. I said, "What do you have that for?" It's nice. I like it. The color screen and everything. When's the last time you used it? I can't remember. But they still need to have them, all right? Because it looks cool. And the bigger the phone, the better. It's like cars, like anything else. All right. So here's the omni-channel contact center, just to sort of define it a little bit. Omni-channel means that it gives the caller or the customer various choices in how to communicate with their provider for a better customer experience. So it offers collaboration and all these things. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going into this, but you need to know about it. IP Phone has just instituted a brand new analytics product. It's put out by a company called Akixi. It's generated through the BroadSoft, now Cisco platform only. And big data and analytics are at the forefront of every buyer. They want to know how their company's doing, what people are doing on the phone, who's talking to who hung up on them today. We have a customer outside of Orlando, giant trucking company, 200 users in the call center. People call in to rent trucks for $1,000 a day, right? And there were people that were hanging up. We instituted the analytics program. Now there's a report given to them hourly showing them which people hung up on them so that they can call them back, apologize, and try to rent them a what? A truck for $1,000 a day. The whole analytics platform costs them $3 per user times the 200. So it's $600 a month. They're renting trucks for $1,000 a day. You do the math. So I've made it a rule in my life never to spend other people's money. Okay? Because what sounds like a lot to some people is a little to others. It's where the value lies. So analytics, can you imagine every PBX user that you've ever sold to, if you added $3 MRC to it, you'd be semi-retired. Not that you're not now. I mean, look how relaxed the guy looks. All right? All right, so analytics is out there. By the way, our sales engineer, Abraham, who's going to come today, we don't just say, here's analytics and here's a PDF. We are always available at IP Phone to do webinars for your end users, for yourself if you want to know more about it. They can test it out. They can see the reports interactively, video. All right? So, Eric, how many webinars have we done on analytics? Hundreds. I'll answer for you. You just stay there, okay? He's beautiful. All right? But hundreds. And I have to tell you that the closing ratio, if the customer agrees to, after you've quoted the communication system, if they agree to take the webinar, is that a move in the right direction? Yeah. Right? And what's the goal here? To get the customer to sign. So anything they do to progress the sale, take a demo, get a webinar, try the product, use it for a week. Anything that you possibly do is you're rounding third base. Okay? It's not, and later on I'm sort of getting ahead of myself because it's not just about the quote. Let's go on, if we can. All right. Okay, so 3 years ago, IP Phone bought a company out of Jacksonville. And we bought a second platform. And that platform is a lot more, if you will, cost-effective than the BroadSoft and the higher-end platform. So we came up with a product. I came up with a product called Easy PBX. All right? So let's just talk about Easy PBX. This is a PDF that we have, and there's a bunch of flyers that are available to you. There is part of the market that wants something just to replace what they have. There's 10 people in the company, 5 people, 20 people, 5 small locations where they want no fuss, no muss, all you can eat. How much is it? All right? So if you have a company, I know you can do the math here, you people are smart. You have a company with 10 people in it, I show you Easy PBX, how much is it a month?
$185.
Not bad, but you're only off by $10, all right? It's $200, is it not? 10 times 9, maybe I should make it 20, it'll be easier for you. But everything's $19.95 and $19.99, it can't be 20, all right? This it includes everything. The UC feature with desktop, mobile app, fax to email is a $5 more. But it's on a per person basis, so only those who you feel would be justified to have it, okay? And it includes the phone, a Yealink T46. This is a one-call, this is a sign and drive deal, guys. Right? I mean, this is a napkin sale. Tim? Well, there's more. Yeah, listen, if you don't start selling this, you're going to see me on late night TV with this pretty soon. All right? KTEL Records. I always bought the one that I was on my first date with. You know, the records that come through. All right, Easy PBX. Read about it. It's a great product for that segment of the market who you think can really, benefit from an all-in, easy decision. And by the way, it's easy to present and it's easy to digest. Is it not? So if someone is a real layman, if you're not talking to an IT person or someone who's in the know about, needs workforce management and all these other things and really takes a deep dive, this is a great product. It can be provisioned and installed within a week. Okay, phone and all. All right, IP Phone has a unique proposition in the hospitality industry. A lot of you know that. We were lucky enough to get a couple of big Club Meds. All right, we have probably a dozen hotels that we're offering a full PMS, which is Property Management System interface, and there's a unique pricing program. So if you do have a hospitality application, which by the way, it's really the same thing as a nursing home, right? Because the only difference between a hotel and a nursing home, you just don't know when the guests are checking out. Even Dan liked that one. What? That's on the BroadSoft platform. Yep. And we've deployed them. So the bottom line here, by the way, is the hospitality industry and these some kind of unique verticals that are out there, you have to have the personnel in your company that has the expertise to deploy. We sent 2 technicians for 2 weeks to the Dominican Republic to do the installation on an 800-room Club Med. They came back, they'll never be the same, 2 weeks there. But they did a great job, and these people are billing, it's a $60,000 a month proposition between all the rooms, the LD, and all of the admins, and their contact center. So there's big money in these kinds of businesses if you know what you're doing. We actually have a website called IP Hospitality. We actually have a person in our company who is the Chief Hospitality Officer, and his name is Aubrey, and if you bring him into your prospect, you just have to wait in the car. Am I right? All right? That's right. All right, here's bandwidth. Here's our pricing. I'm not hiding anything. Here it is. If you like it, give us a go. You like it? It's not too bad. This is our bandwidth pricing, current. So one of the nice things that we do, and I think in the world of telecom, we have the unique position to be able to bundle the PBX and the bandwidth services on one bill, one installation, one vendor, one throat to choke.
You got to explain the footprint of that pricing.
This is AT&T and FPL, but we also have a national agreement with another carrier now. Great question. Thanks for bringing that up. All right. So it was in the AT&T footprint and FPL now Crown Castle. Okay. But if you do have implementations anywhere in the United States, we just go in, you give us the address, we have the tool for pricing, we'll give it back to you, you decide. We just want to be thought of. Think of me, please. All right, let's go on. All right, so we just instituted Google reviews in our company. We have gotten over 300 Google reviews. We're very happy to say that we're averaging 4.9. My hands are really tired of doing all the typing, but they're really coming across. Right? I mean, some of this is good. Now, if you look at Yelp, you go to Capital Grill, one person doesn't like it, you never eat there again. Right? All right, but anyways, it's good. I'm just trying to sort of testimonialize the fact that, buyers like to know that other people are happy or not with the potential product because they're fearful going in, are they not? They're making a huge transition from whatever they have now to whatever you're proposing, and you're asking them to believe you, for God's sakes. All right? So don't believe us, believe the people that wrote these. All right, let's go on. So our strategic advantage, and we talk about this a lot. We do a professional installation on every deployment. An IP phone in our jurisdiction from Atlanta down all of Florida, and any company that's 20 phones or north, an IP phone technician with the shirt and the hat and the badge will show up at their location to do the entire deployment. We have a sanctioned third-party installation group that for those locations where there's 5 phones here, 5 phones there, in Chicago or Kansas, or we just did one in Washington State someplace, we'll send them out. We pay for it. Okay? We pay for it. Because we want to make sure, because your customer experience is directly related to the first couple of weeks they have the product. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
All right? There is no other way. If they get past, the first month or whatever it is, you're on easy street generally, unless somebody does something terrible. All right? Okay, so about training. We have 24/7 customer support, tiers 1, 2, and 3, obviously, like most companies do. Every single account that we get, whether it's a circuit or a PBX or an easy PBX or a fax service, is handled by a professional project manager who is charged with the entire deployment of the project until the customer says, that's really great, thank you. All right? Our average tenure of our project managers is north of 6 years. So most of you who have done business with us know who they are, and they're very, very competent. So also our professional installation, we have 6 trucks on the road. And we also have a full-blown office in Jacksonville, which handles everything from Atlanta down through North Florida with a sanctioned technician from IP Phone. And on top of that, we will send a trainer to your customer's location to do training on the phones, on the handsets. Maybe they have a particular reception needs, contact center, admin portal, everything. We send them out. We've been doing it for 100 years since I started. All right, here's our core infrastructure. We bought that company up in Jacksonville, so we have some North Florida and Fort Lauderdale locations, but our main cores are in 2 data centers, the Napa of the Americas, which have been here for 20 years, and then we just opened up one in Dallas. Okay, full-blown infrastructure. Hopefully we'll never have to use it. It's like insurance, right? Homeowners insurance. You ever use your homeowners insurance? I never have. I paid these guys $100,000 already. I'm hoping something crashes. I mean, I want value. I could have bought a new house for crying out loud. Not much I pay that son of a gun. All right, here's some of the companies we do business with. That's all you get to see. All right? Am I nuts? All right. Yeah, you try to call them. I'll send Dewey Cheatham and Howe over there. All right? Anyways, we do multi-locations. All right, we're getting a lot of traction on multi-locations. Many of these have come from the TCG group, but and some of these, by the way, are offshore. So we do have the expertise to deploy in the Caribbean, South America, Mexico, Europe, wherever it is. We do the porting, we put in the switches, the gateways, and send our own people to do it. All right, we're in South Florida. How many companies in South Florida are either part of or headquarters for companies that are offshore? Right? A lot of them. And if you're not doing the due diligence to find out if they have an office in Bogota or Buenos Aires or or Mexico City, you're doing yourself a disservice because that's the nature of hosted IP. Swisher Sweets is a good one. 800 phones, and in Dominican Republic, there's 400 phones on the tobacco factory. I'm not sure what else they're growing there, but they're making a lot of money. My application is in. All right. All right, also, IP phone has been sort of noted to get some communications awards, which I think are given out to anybody who buys a full-page ad in the magazine. All right, so why IP phone? Okay, professional support, this is sort of summarizes the whole thing. Professional support, experience. Again, we not only keep our customers 99% of the time, we have virtually zero employee turnover. Virtually zero. There's nowhere else for these people to go. This is it, the end of the road. All right? There's other wishes there. All right? On-site training, I've mentioned some of this. And by the way, for those of you who have done business with us, you pretty well understand, we're pretty good people. We like to have a good time. We're professional, easy to talk to. We're right down the street, right? Our CEO's mobile number is on the escalation list. Okay? Call him. I dare you. All right? Let me get back to this. All right, so here's a unique offering that some of you already know about, but it's worth reiterating. We offer an unconditional 6-month satisfaction guarantee to every new deployment, which basically it says that if we can't make you happy within the first 6 months of you having our system, we'll take our stuff and go home. We've used it a couple of times, right? But over the 5 years, somebody just couldn't get it. It ended up being a network thing. We don't want to argue with the person. But generally speaking, people sleep better when they make a decision knowing that somebody's got their back for the first 6 months. You like this? This is not a bad thing. I wrote it myself. Someday I'm going to read it. All right. So the latest news from IP Phone, ladies and gentlemen, we're very happy to say, Dan's very happy to hear it, that we have become a platinum sponsor of TCG. Okay? This is with all things in mind, this is how much we relish the relationship. Okay? This is the dedication, this is the commitment. All right? We're in for the long haul, and we're all in.
What's your qualifier for President's Club?
I think it's 10,000.
10,000?
Yeah, I mean, if nobody does it, I'm going to buy it myself and go.
Yeah, they're checking the official back there. So sell $10,000 of IP.
Of anything.
Of anything.
I don't care if you sell a car.
To Ireland.
Okay? All right. Also, about a month and a half ago, we presented TCG with a symbolic trophy, but more importantly, we reached a momentous revenue goal of $2.5 million in annualized revenue with TCG and its ecosystem. So thanks again. Okay? I guess maybe the bottom line to that is not so much the amount, but the fact that we're thought of and relied upon and offered up at enough opportunities to get to this mark, which I guess is pretty cool. Okay? In our own, and we're up, last time I did a lunch and learn, we had just over 400 installs. Between then and now, we've added 100 installations on behalf of TCG agents. So we're up to half a grand, okay? And separate installations nationwide. Okay, our own company, we just hired a few. We hired a help partner desk, so we hired a young man who is going to do quotes only. So this will assure you 24-hour turnaround on all of your quotes back to you, turned around, all right? He's in training now. Within a couple of weeks, he worked at the Apple store. He must have a brain, okay? All right, at least he can fix his phone. Okay, we have a new marketing manager who's going to put us online, improve our online visibility, which is good because when you offer up IP phone, your prospect is probably going to look at who we are. Is that a fair statement? For anybody, I don't care who it is. Anybody, they're taking a second look. And as long as that second look is convincing and appealing, you got a better chance of getting the deal. All right? We hired a new corporate trainer. His name is Alan. He actually comes out of the Cisco world. And so we have 2 trainers on the mark right now because our business is growing. We grew 15% last year, even with a 15% reduction in cost per seat and the revenues and bandwidth and everything else. So we grew, it went down, but we still grew. Okay, let's go on. There you go. Danny. Look how I got in. God forbid they would put me in the picture. Huh? I brought the money over, did the whole thing. Poor slob, huh? All right, anyways, this is a momentous event. All right, so what's the same? I told you what's new. This is what's the same, is our commitment, tradition, and reputation for quality products, professional installation, and support. That cannot be tethered. We can add new products, we can change pricing, we can have contests, we can offer spiffs, we can do all this. That's the core. That's the long-term relationship. And when you're working on MRC in an annuity-based income stream, there's nothing like having somebody to keep your customers for 10 years. All right, here's our dedicated channel team. We've got people that have your back. All right, now we're going to get on to the second point at hand. This is my favorite part. I told you one of the goals I have today is to help you make more money. Okay? Is that a reasonable goal? Maybe for you. It's okay for me. But I think that you're leaving money on the table. I spent 15 years on the road as a professional sales trainer and motivational speaker in the telecommunications industry. I'm not boasting about it, just a fact. So it gives me sort of the wherewith to talk about this, and I won a lot of awards too as a good salesperson. I still am. Try me. Okay? So let's talk about, here's the quality theory of IP phone, and by the way, Stu. When you talk about the words quality, I suggest to you that quality is more than a fair price, right? Everybody's got a fair price. You have to have one. Quality is more than just customers. Quality is more than products, because a lot of the products are the same as well. Would you agree? But quality is a mindset. So our mindset is to try to equate IP phone with companies like FedEx, IBM, Amazon, Cisco, Capital Grille, and Nordstrom's. When you think of any of those companies, what goes through your mind? I got this at Nordstrom. Ooh. Right? It means you paid how much? $700 for a shirt, but it's probably good. If you go to Nordstrom Rack, you always never throw in the rack. But these companies equate to quality, right? Over the years, nobody ever got fired. You've heard the old statement, by buying from IBM or Cisco or using FedEx. When you send something FedEx, you're pretty assured that the delivery is going to get there when? On time. Now, if you use Stu's delivery service to send crucial information to Chicago by tomorrow, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to be sleeping someplace in the middle of Ohio on my way, trying to get that customer experience together. But this is how we try to appeal to our senses of quality and customer experience. You ever shop at Nordstrom's? Anybody here shop at Nordstrom's? Okay, it's pretty cool, right? I'm going to tell you something. I bought a shirt there once. I must have made a big check, all right? But I bought a shirt there once, and the salesperson actually came around the counter and handed me the bag with her card and this, and say, if you need anything or if there's any issue with that, please call me. It's been a pleasure serving you today. And the hell did I buy here? A minivan? I bought a shirt, and that's the treatment I get. Then when I brought it back the next day after I went to the party, they were gracious to take it back, even with the mustard stain. All right, let's go on. All right, so let's talk a little bit about quoting and proposals. I have a lot of information, and I thought today might be a good time to talk about, and it's sort of in concert with, by the way, with what every speaker was talking about today, that our industry is growing up. There's more to it. It's solutions-based versus pricing-based. You're not saving people money anymore, right? You're offering them, ways to make their business better by doing this, that, or the other, or both. All right? So I would suggest to you that there's a huge difference between a quote and a proposal. I can give you a quote on Easy PBX for 10 phones at $200. But if you want a proposal for digital migration and integrating your workforce and your CRM and all the other things that come into it and your IT and all this, I can't offer you just a quote. I'm going to come up with a solution or a proposition which encompasses all of that. And the only way I'm going to find out what it is exactly what you need is to do what? Come on, you guys. What do we do? I might want to ask you some questions about your business. right? I might want to find out how you do things now. I might want to find out where your pain points, all these kinds of things. If you're not doing that, you're just going to be sending quotes which go on deaf ears. Because I could send a quote, and what is the first thing they look at on the quote? The double bottom line. It's going to cost me $500 to do this. To do what? They don't even know what they're doing for $500, right? This is what you get. One of my bottom lines here, one of the last slides you're going to see, I'll get ahead of myself, is that sending people quotes is a death knell. What's that furniture guy going to do when he sees all that crap? Right? He's putting nails in wood. All right, let's go on. Let me show you what I mean by it. So don't leave money on the table, which was, of course, made by the furniture guy. All right? So I suggest to you that if you offered up and came up with solutions to your prospective customers that encompassed everything that would help them, your quote, your bottom line would be what? Higher. Would be higher. It would be higher. Is it higher just because it's higher, or is it higher because they're getting more for the money? They're getting more for the money. Because you are the trusted advisor. You're the person who says, I think this will be beneficial to you. Should I include it? These kinds of things. It's easier to quote a lot of stuff and do what? Take some out. But once you start adding stuff, it's painful for the buyer. Okay? So don't leave money on the table. Okay? Telling versus selling. Focus on presenting your product first rather than understanding the customer first. This is a way to death toll to value. I come in and I say, this is IP Phone, we're so good, we have all these things, great guys, you should see these guys, they're handsome, they have trucks, they do this, that, and the other thing. That is not how you sell. Tell me a little bit about your company. I'm not going to go through the whole litany of things that you should be doing, but you know you should be doing them. How long have you been selling?
7 years.
That's it. It's a puppy. How long have you been selling? How long have you been in sales?
20 years.
20 years, not bad. John? 60, 70 years? 40, yeah. Huh? All you guys. Ask him, probably 6 weeks. Oh, poor baby. Poor baby. Welcome to the real world. Jesus. I remember when I was in there for 6 months, I made 10,000 cold calls in Manhattan already. All right? So, Stephen Covey, you've heard of him, the guy that wrote the books? A couple of his lines. Prescription before diagnosis is malpractice. Pretty cool, right?
Nice.
Come on, you guys digest that. I'll give you a few minutes. All right, time's up. Seek to understand, seek first to understand, then to be understood. So getting people to talk and what have you, shows you how you should be in the game. Photobomb. All right. These slides will be available at $5 a piece. This one's $2.50, there's nothing on it. All right. So here's some of the things, and I will give you some of this if you want it, just for your own edification. Here are some of the things that you want to know when you're selling, particularly in my world, all right? The UCaaS, telecommunications kind of services. I need information. Okay? I want to know this. Do I want to know this? Okay. Do you use overhead paging? We provide overhead paging. What kind of, do companies use overhead paging? A lot of them do. We install probably one a month, a paging system in companies because they have it or they need a new one. And it can go right on the hosted PBX, right on the cloud, or their doorbells. How many times have you, suggested products and the guy comes back and says, I can't open my doors anymore? You should have told me that. Wrong. You should have asked me that. And then when you go back and say it's going to cost $15 more, so are you kidding me? Take this crap out of here. It only has to happen to you once, and it'll never happen again. All right. Does the company use fax? Now, do companies still use fax?
Yes.
A lot of them do. Healthcare industry, medical offices, they all use fax. Is it HIPAA compliance? It is HIPAA compliant until it goes out to the open world, but the point is they still all use it. And we have cloud fax that goes, you can have up to 5 people on it, it's $12 a month, and if you're not asking the right question, somebody else will get it, and that's the whole story. Okay? It's all about making money. Okay? How about this one? We talked about this. Every speaker that was up there today talked about this. What happens if the power goes down? I'm out of business. Bummer. right? What do? You send people home? What does it cost you per hour to be in business? All right, let's go on. The fact is that business owners would love to have a new phone system, right? Everybody, who doesn't want a new phone system? Shiny object, all right? The problem is they just don't want to buy one. There's the rub. So, what's the answer to that question? How many decision makers know how much they're spending per month? It's an easy question, huh? Zero. Let's be real. How much are you spending? I don't know. When's your contract up? I don't know. You pay your bills on time? I don't know. I don't know anything. I make furniture, right? So here, this is how we can leverage their ignorance. Because you told them, shouldn't you know? I think I should know. When's the contract up? I don't know. Don't you think you should know? Right? What are you going to do when the contract's up? You can get auto renewed? They still do that? All right, so get their bills. Here's the idea. If a company gives you their bills, regardless of what they're spending it on, whether it's managed services, telecom, bandwidth, anything that you sell or offer, once they give you the bills, what's happening to the sales process? It's moving along, brother. They call that transference. Anytime I give you something and you give me something, give and take, we're moving right along. If they say I'm not giving you my bills, what should you do? Start the car. And of course, key his on the way out. Or hers. I don't care. I don't discriminate on whose it is. All right, get their bills. Find out what to do. They will be very surprised, regardless of who they are, how much they're spending on technology. All right? Because how much of that spend do you want? I want all of it. I mean, TCG's got partners that can provide every single thing that prospect needs. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Every single thing. There's go-to people to get it. All right? Let's go on. So show me the money. All right? So you got to find these, get the bills once you start digging through these, because here's my point. The bottom line of finding out how much they're spending now versus what you're proposing is the delta. If I give you a quote for $1,000 for managed services this month, right? $5,000. That person thinks that their spend is going up how much? $5,000. But is it? What is it doing? It's going up $5,000 minus what I'm spending today. That's how much I'm asking for. That's the delta. That's how you sell the value. What if they're spending $3,000 today? They don't even know it yet, but they are. They're break-fix people, all those things we've been talking about here. They have people with PRIs. Still, for how much is a PRI 5 years ago? $1,300? Do people still have them? It's amazing to me. Here, you want to pull their head right out of the sand. Breathe. And you come in with a proposal for UCAS for $600. The guy says, I'm not spending another $600 in my company. All right, so why don't you take this $1,300 out that's been auto-renewed since 1976 when I sold it to you the first time. All right. I'm just giving you food for thought here. This is stuff that we take for granted. Is that a fair statement? This is what we take for granted. Let's go on. All right, so at the end of the day, for about the same money or a little bit more or less, they get the brand new, state-of-the-art, feature-rich, scalable, enterprise-grade, supported, integrated, future-proof, disaster-proof, one bill to pay, productive, all-inclusive freaking phone system for what they're spending today. I like those phones. I love it. And by the way, if you do sell telephony, never go to a prospect without bringing one of the phones, because it's the only tangible thing in the industry. They see the phone, you put it next to that Nortel that they've had with the paper things on the BLF, right? That they like so much. I went into a guy's office once. He had a beautiful Apple computer, an iPhone. His desk must have cost $12,000. Big chair. The guy was dressed to the nines, and he had this 25-year-old Nortel with the paper shit on the BLF. I said, just for a moment here, sir. I said, this is a beautiful office. The only thing that really sticks out to me is that 25-year-old phone. He got so pissed he kicked me out of his office. But I had a great, I had to do it. I had to do it. I went to one guy once, he says, I really like my phone here. I like seeing all the people's names. I said, how many of those people still work here? They're like 3 out of 12. You want an eraser? People are funny. All right, let's go on. So a proposal is more than a quote. This is where it hits it. A proposal defines the experience of conversion. This is all the stuff that's going to happen when you choose us, right? It's not just here's the bill and you pay it. This is all the things that are going to happen in this transition, because I'm a firm believer that if you tell people what happens after the sale, it's easier to get the sale. Because once they sign, they're scared out of their mind. Would you agree? But if you tell them how it's going to roll out after they buy, you're in much better shape. So discuss the implementation process before they buy. It's also extremely assumptive, is it not? Okay? So, and deliver your proposal in person, or of course, take one of IP Phone's reps and you just wait in the car, we'll get the deal. All right? And we have a close to an 80% closing ratio when one of our dedicated channel managers accompanies you on the call if you believe that we are the right choice. I mean, I'm not sure you'd want to bring John in if you're promoting Nextiva, because that wouldn't last long. That wouldn't last long. All right, with all due respect to them or anybody else. But if you think that we're a good choice, use us, abuse us, anything. Whoop. Okay, and in closing, whoop. That's our current spiff. I don't know if you've all seen it. I hope you have. You know, we try to stay competitive on a quarterly basis, you know, with all the spiffs that are out there. Even if you sell that easy PBX to 5 people, you get a couple of bucks. All right? And we change it up every month. We try to be as aggressive as we possibly can, outside of just by the virtue of the fact. And, you know, hopefully you're not just selling based on the spiff. You're selling on because you want the customer to be with you for 10 years and you want them to be happy, because the spiff is baloney in the long run if that's not what's happening. All right? All right. And finally, I wrote a little song. Okay? Everybody knows the Mickey Mouse song? M-I-C-K-Y. I have a new one. Ready? MRC is the K-E-Y to M-O-N-E-Y. Thank you very much. Okay? Be my Valentine, all you little knuckleheads. Let's sell something. Enjoy the rest of your day.